Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Oh! Oh no! Oh my god! No way! Oh! It's Saber Oh, look at these fights! Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to Let's Talk About It, the show where we talk about everything going on in the movie, TV, and video game world. I'm your host, and I go out and research these topics I think you guys are going to love, topics that I really want to discuss with you. And, you know, with all that out of the way, guys, please make sure you press that subscribe button. First off, you got to press the subscribe button. Just by pressing that button, it helps this channel out so much. I really appreciate it whenever you guys subscribe to our channel. And with that all out of the way, let's move on to our first topic here today. And that is this. I've been very vocal about my thoughts on some of the projects James Gunn has announced for his new DC universe. There's been some projects which I absolutely love, including projects like Lanterns, Supergirl, Swamp Thing. Very excited for those projects. Then there's been other stuff where I've been like, I don't know how I feel about this. Projects like Dynamic Duo, a Bane and Deathstroke movie. Not really seeing the sense of where he possibly wants to go with his DC universe. And it's just kind of confusing with all that. But a big question is, as the Marvel Universe has the Avengers, the DC Universe has the Justice League. And someone was on Twitter asking, hey, are we going to have a Justice League movie, and what's going to be the influence of that? Well, James Gunn, debunked this rumor, and, but he said it's possible in the future. According to thecomic.com, James Gunn weighs in on Justice League movie rumors and reveals comics that's a big influence on DCU. Now, the first thing you guys want to know is, is there a Justice League movie coming? James Gunn says no. No, there is not. Right now, they're not developing Justice League, which makes sense, They just started their universe, It took Marvel a few years to set up their characters in order for us to get Avengers. And I think James Gunn, when they eventually get to a Justice League, when they eventually have all the pieces in set for that film, that, he's going to be like, okay, this is the time to make this movie. That's just going to be the time. Right now I think it's not a great time to just announce this movie because it's going to be years away. Maybe even 7, 8 years away we actually get a Justice League film. Or maybe he doesn't do Justice League. Who knows? But another rumor, not a rumor, but James Gunn did also say that this Justice League movie people thought was going to be based on the comic, The New Frontier, which is not a comic but also an animated film. There was an animated Justice League film that came out, I believe, a few years ago, and it was a very violent Justice League film. It was called Justice League: The New Frontier. I remember watching it. It was a 2008 movie, and this was a very kind of dark look on Justice League. Very dark look on the DC universe. It was set, I think, around post Vietnam, post World War II. You had characters like the Flash in there, Wonder Woman. You had Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter. You had all these characters, all these different characters. But the real twist of it, that it was a villain. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the villain of this movie. It was a really weird villain, but it kind of what that comic really did was it kind of set, what does a world of superheroes look like if it's the 1960s or the 1950s? How does a world react to that? And it was very much, where, it delved a lot into political influences of the time. And, James Gunn saying hey, that's interesting to go. And, I can see that, I think one thing, that Marvel has not really done is they haven't really they can sometimes mix in the real world with their films, but mostly it's just fantastical threats. But what if you do a Superman movie? What if you do a Flash, Green Lantern, or Wonder Woman film dealing really with that political aspect? It can be interesting. That can be really interesting. And, New Frontier really dealt with those issues up hand, dealt with the space race. Who's going to get there first, America or the Russians? It dealt with, people being at odds with each other, racism, all those big things we read about in our textbooks that I think are still central themes today, about, people tearing each other apart for more power. And, there was some really interesting Superman stuff in there. In the beginning of that film, there was a scene in there with Superman and Wonder Woman. Superman flies over to Vietnam, and Wonder Woman has killed and freed these women from capture from these Vietnam men. And Superman goes and is like, you can't just kill these people. And Wonder Woman makes a good point. She says, Superman, no one else cares about these women. No one would have given a shit if I didn't show up. That's the thing, it's like where America was off in their little bubble, like the entire world was fighting for each other. It very questioned, the question, what is Superman? Is his purpose just to be another American ally? Or is he here to serve the entire world? They kind of dive deep into that a little bit in BVS, but New Frontier is a very interesting way to go. If the rumors are true about James Gunn's Superman, if it's true, I can see it kind of shifting towards this new frontier kind of universe. Not that it's going to be the 1950s, 1960s. We know that it's not going to be a Justice League based in the 1950s or 60s. But if you can take some of those themes and apply them to the real world, I think it'd be very interesting to see for a Justice League film or for like the entire setup for this universe. And we're going to be talking about New Frontier a little bit later in the video because it has something to reveal with something with the Lantern series as well. But guys, what do you think? James Gunn says no plans for a Justice League film right now, but that doesn't mean there's room for the future. And, one of his big influences he's looking into is the New Frontier comic storyline of the DC Universe. Make sure you leave your comments down below. Let's move on to our second topic here today. Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and Shawn Levy have broken the history books this year with Deadpool and Wolverine. They have broken the record books with Deadpool and Wolverine. Yes, they have. But, the question is, what is next for them? What is next for these individuals? Well, we've all been wondering, what's Ryan Reynolds' next project? What's Hugh Jackman's? What's Shawn Levy? Even though Shawn Levy, he's going back to work on Stranger Things. Hugh Jackman is getting back on Broadway. And, we don't really know what Ryan Reynolds has got going on next. Well, according to Variety, this trio of filmmakers, writers, and actors are reuniting, but not for a Marvel project. According to Variety, Ryan Reynolds writing non-Marvel project to reunite with Hugh Jackman and director Shawn Levy after Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, of course, the big thing is here, this is not a Marvel movie. So we can kind of take it out that this is not a Deadpool and Wolverine sequel, even though we've heard rumblings of it. And, Ryan Reynolds goes on to say that he will be writing this over the next year, writing this movie. And a lot of people are like, oh, people are going to think when they read that, oh, he's not going to do anything else but write this movie. He might go appear in other things. Because if he's taking a year off, we know that the Avengers movies are filming soon. So it could be possible he appears in those as well. But the real thing is that I'm excited to see this trio again. Personally, the trio of Shawn Levy and Ryan Reynolds has been one of my favorites. I think it's a very underrated duo. If you look what they've done, Free Guy, such a fun movie. The Adam Project, another really fun movie. And then Deadpool and Wolverine, another fun movie. They really, really make fun movies. And you put Hugh Jackman in there. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of Hugh Jackman in movies for a while. Sure, he did that movie, like it was came out during the pandemic with Rebecca Ferguson, but I haven't seen a lot of Hugh Jackman, Like, I think, of course, everyone knows him as Wolverine, but he's a tremendous actor. I think he actually is an Oscar-nominated / Oscar-winning actor. He is a great actor. He's not just Wolverine, he's a song and dance man. And, I'm excited to see what this is going to do, Personally, well, I would love to see Shawn Levy kind of go out of his own area and kind of do something different. Maybe he does a musical. You got Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds has done musicals before. If you remember that Spirited movie did with Will Ferrell, that movie was enjoyable. Hugh Jack, I think it would be really cool for them. See that? Maybe you do a romance movie. I feel like we don't really get a lot of huge stars doing romance movies anymore. I think Anyone But You kind of brought the rom-com genre back. But I would love to see, that bring back, especially, if you have a Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman in like a bro/rom-com movie. Oh, that would be such amazing. But in the article does not say what it's going to be. It is nothing here is saying what this film is going to be about. I'm just saying, it takes a while to write a movie. It takes a long, long time, Personally, I've never written a movie before. But I can just imagine how many ideas you want to put into a movie that aren't in there. So Ryan Reynolds, he's been working on this for a while. Do I think this is going to be another $3 billion film? No, because we have no idea what it's going to be about. We can't just quickly say that just because Shawn Levy, Hugh Jackman, and Ryan Reynolds work on a movie, that's going to be a success. You got to see a trailer. You got to see a script. You got to see, if this movie is worth seeing. And is it interesting for the audience to go see? I think Ryan Reynolds is now at a stage in his career where he doesn't have to really be Deadpool anymore. I feel like after Deadpool and Wolverine, the door on Deadpool is closed. And I'm okay with that, because I'm okay with Deadpool closing the door on that story. I think both Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds the door could be closed with those characters. I would love to go see Ryan Reynolds really, really do some. I know we say a lot artist work, and I'm not saying Marvel movies aren't artist movies, but they aren't they are looked upon in the industry as you're gonna be in a Marvel movie. Of course, many directors have come out and said various things, including Martin Scorsese, about how he feels about the Marvel franchise. But I would just really love to see Ryan Reynolds, not go into a very serious role. We've always seen Ryan Reynolds as a comedic actor. I would really love to see Ryan Reynolds go into a dramatic role. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch the movie Buried with Ryan Reynolds. It will show you his dramatic chops. He's not just the comedy guy. He's not just the funny guy. He can be a really, really serious actor. I kind of want to see him in a role like that, a role you can kind of imagine him in a Chris Nolan film and a Martin Scorsese film. I would really love to see that for him, because I think it'd be really interesting to kind of see him not just as the comedic guy, but also the serious, serious guy. But guys, what do you think? A new movie is being written by Ryan Reynolds, and he'll be reuniting with Hugh Jackman and Shawn Levy for this film, and it's non-Marvel as well. Leave comments down below, and let's move on to our third topic here today. Now, I did say in the beginning of this video that we will be going back and be talking about the New Frontier again. We'll be talking about the New Frontier again. And I made it very, very specific that we would be. And this has to do with lanterns. Now, the interesting thing about the DCU is that James Gunn pointed out in the beginning that lanterns is going to be giving us an idea of the overall threat of this universe. Where we got Thanos in the MCU, James Gunn's going a bit different route, apparently, according to a new rumor. According to comicmovie.com, Lantern's villain possibly revealed, and they may end up being DCU's big bad. And this is what it's going to be. This is what the villain is being speculated to be. According to Daniel Richmond, it is looking like it is going to be a villain called the Center. Now, I say this release to the New Frontier in a way, because in the movie Justice League, The New Frontier, the animated film, the villain in that movie was the Center. And the Center, I believe, it's been a while since I watched the film, but the Center is this being that kind of goes out in the universe, controls other species, and, destroys planets. They never really described it well, in that, but basically the Center is also known as Dinosaur Island. It is a sentient island, and Rich being that is a villain in the DC universe. That's really what we have on it, that the Center could possibly be the villain in this movie. And, that would be very different. It's not a Darkseid. It's not a Brainiac, It's not Anti-Monitor, but it's a villain, that I don't know much about, to be honest. What I know of it is that it's like an island that dinosaurs live on, which is really weird. It's like, oh, we're going to make a Justice League movie. Well, guess what? The Justice League are going to go against an island that has dinosaurs all over it. I think it could be interesting. New Frontier is very much, a not really, in my opinion, a very serious comic book movie. It's not like the other Justice League animated movies or anything else. It's very, very serious and very has that 1950s feel to it. So I don't know how the center would work, but take this with a grain of salt. This is all rumor. Everything we talk about, this is rumor. James Gunn isn't coming out saying the center is going to be the main villain of the Justice League movie. No, when I think of the center, I do kind of feel like it's kind of like close to what Starro was. It's something that goes planet to planet, controlling species, always being this looming threat. But, I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel about it. Because, I think, if you want a big bad for your DCU, James Gunn, I know you want to go with, the stuff people don't really know. But I think to make it really work, you need to be able to attract, people to go see it. So you do a villain like Brainiac, a villain like Vandal Savage, like Darkseid, like the Anti-Monitor. Villains people are like, oh, yeah, I know. That guy is someone you don't mess with. People don't know the center. You say, oh, our heroes, the main threat is going to be an island that has dinosaurs on it. I don't know if that's what he's like. So what you're saying is I'm going to go see a movie where Superman's going to be punching out dinosaurs? In a way, it sounds really stupid, But, this is all rumor, guys. I'm not saying this is the villain. And, if this was the villain in Lanterns, if this was just for the Lantern show, I can see that actually working better, just making like, oh, the center, is all these weird things are happening, and the Green Lanterns have to come solve it, that's what I could see, which I think would work for a Lantern series, I know a lot of people are very hesitant on this Lantern series now because of the Kyle Chandler casting. I think Kyle Chandler is a great choice for Hal Jordan. Like, if you guys have not watched Friday Night Lights, go watch it. Kyle Chandler is so good as the coach in that show. I'm rewatching it right now just because, I love rewatching that show almost every year because it's such a fun watch. And Kyle Chandler's amazing in the show. He is such an amazing actor. And, I think once people see this show, they're going to see that Kyle Chandler is Hal Jordan. I already kind of see him as Hal Jordan. When I'm reading my Green Lantern comics now, I'm imagining the voice of Kyle Chandler. I'm always imagining Coach Taylor being Hal Jordan. I can really imagine it. And, Aaron Pierre, I think he's going to kill it as Jon Stewart as well. But what do you guys think? The center, a very obscure DC villain, could be the main villain in our DCU. Or do you think it could possibly be the villain in the new Lanterns series? Leave your comments down below, guys. And let's move on to our final topic here today. And that is this. With the Venom franchise now ending, Venom is now over. Tom Hardy as Venom has gotten left. The question is, where do you go from here? I have made predictions where I think you can jump to a bunch of other symbiotes. You can jump to a symbiote like Scream. You can continue with Temple's character, Agony. You could even possibly bring Michelle Williams back to be She-Venom if you wanted to. But at the time, I forgot one of my fan favorite characters who has donned the symbiote before, and that is Flash Thompson, or Harry Osborn, or someone else, as the character called Agent Venom. And according to comicmovie.com, there's a little bit of rumor that we might be getting a movie about that character. According to them, Agent Venom movie, rumored to be in development at Sony Pictures. Now, if you guys don't know what Agent Venom is, I supposedly that you don't know who he is. Agent Venom is a version of Venom. But it's not Eddie Brock. It bonds to a person called Flash Thompson. Which, that name is familiar because that is the name of the bully who always bullies Peter Parker. Now, the reason why I think this makes sense is possibly I think Sony still wants to use the character Venom. They very much still want to use this character. Maybe not the same type as like Tom Hardy. Venom, but, still want to use it in a capacity because the movie, Venom is doing very well. Like, no matter what you look at it, Venom has already made $300 million. So the IP of Venom is great. And according to, more, stories from Variety and Hollywood Reporter last night, a lot of people ducked out of the election, watching the election last night, and chose to go to the movies. And what's really the only movie that people are interested in seeing in the theaters right now? Venom 3. So they think Venom 3 could even have a bigger jump. Might actually like be where I predicted its box office will be, which will be in the 500 millions. I'm suggesting, I do believe Venom will make 500 million plus. I know a lot of people are like, that's crazy. I'm like, guys, it's less than $200 million away from making 500 million. You know, I think it can make more money than Venom Let There Be Carnage. I really do think it can. And you know, if you want to continue with the Venom character, I think going to Agent Venom is perfect. You know, of course, you know, this would not be, in my opinion, the Flash Thompson from the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, because that character I never even saw as Agent Venom, or kind of like someone who really looks up to Spider-Man. I kind of find, you know, all props to Tony Rivoli, who plays the character. You know, he very much plays the bully Flash Thompson. I just have never seen him being an Agent Venom or like a superhero type character. I say, you know, you go for you get someone for this universe. You know, my real thing is like there's been a lot of characters that Sony has announced that they want to do movies for that I have not been excited about. If that's to the Hydro Hustler, El Moretto, if that's to Morbius, even Madam Web in a way, I was excited for. Agent Venom, I would go immediately see this movie because first off, you're continuing with the IP of Venom. You're also bringing a really cool character who not only has symbiote powers, but in a way is a little bit like the Punisher, where he used weapons, and he is a very different suit design. I love the suit design for Agent Venom. He kind of looks more like a tactical soldier more than an alien. And you know, I think if you want to continue with Null, if you want to continue with the Venom symbiote still being in this universe, I think going with Agent Venom is the way to go. But what do you guys think? Do you think Agent Venom could be coming soon? We did get that little tease at the end of Venom: The Last Dance that the symbiote is still around. Do you think it's possible that we could get a new Flash Thompson to play this character? Or do you think they will go for a different character to play this Venom, Agent Venom / Venom character? Leave your comments down below. And guys, that's it for this video. Guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Go check out all our other content on our channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.